Hey guys, welcome back. Bolt Spider here, and tonight we have the first news for the brand new core set, Legacy of Destruction. We have Gandora, we have Silent Magician, Silent Warrior, the Gadgets, and even Marshmelon all in this set, along with a few other surprises. So let's take a look at what is in store for this set, and let's hope it's going to be really nostalgic. There are a total of 10 cards tonight, and let's get right through them because a lot of these are quite interesting. First up, we have Gaze, Gandora, the Dragon of Destruction, a brand new retrain. It is a Dark Dragon effect, level 8 with 0 attack and 0 defense. You can only use the first and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. First effect is if you control Gold Sarcophagus of Light, you can special summon this card from your hand. It gains 300 attack for each banished card, and you can pay half your life points, destroy as many other cards on the field as possible, and if you do, banish them. Then special summon one level 7 or lower monster from your deck that mentions Gold Sarcophagus of Light, and if you do, increase its level by the number of cards destroyed by this effect. So essentially, can we get up to a level 20 now because of this, or is it still hard capped at 12? This is going to be one interesting ruling. It's probably going to be as many as you want. Next up, we have a friendly addition to the Silent Swordsman archetype and the Silent series as a whole. We have Silent Swordsman 0. It is a light warrior effect monster, level 4, 1000 attack and 1000 defense, and you can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. Once per turn during each standby phase, increase this card's level by 1. While this card's current level is higher than its original level, it gains attack equal to the difference times 500. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets Gold Sarcophagus of Light and or a monster that mentions it you control, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, increase this card's level by 1. So modulating levels is quite unique for a deck like this because the only other deck I could think of that modulates levels would be Mecha Fan of Beast. So I believe we can go above level 12 because it doesn't say max 12. This is going to be interesting for future decks that might utilize this as a little engine to get monsters higher than level 12 on the field for certain conditions. That's going to be really interesting to see what would happen with that. Next up, to pair with our Silent Swordsman 0, we have Silent Magician 0. She is a light level 4 spellcaster effect monster with 1000 attack and defense. You can only use the third effect of this card with this card's name once per turn. Sorry about that. If your opponent draws a card, increase this card's level by the number of cards drawn. While this card's level is higher than its original level, it gains 500 attack times the difference of the level. When your opponent activates a spell or effect while you control Light Sarcophagus, you can negate that activation, and if you do, increase this card's level by 1. This is very interesting overall because we have a targeting, negate, and protection along with a spell or effect negate. Very interesting of the two. I hope the next few cards deal with others like trap and maybe other type of protections, but we'll have to see on that. To all the gadget fans out there, we have a couple of new cards, and this is the first of the second, being Tricolor Gadgets. It's an Earth level 4 machine effect monster, 1300 attack and 1100 defense, and you can only use each of the following effects 1 and 2 from this card's name once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Gold Sarcophagus of Light or 1 spell or trap card that mentions it from your deck to your hand. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can set 1 Stronghold, the Stealthy Fortress, directly from your deck to your field. That's a funny name. This is a very interesting card because it searches your spells and trap cards, or even the Gold Sarcophagus of Light. But honestly, this is a really nice card because it gets pretty much half the deck since there's 5 monsters and 5 total spells and trap cards. I wonder if this deck will get a actual extra deck card at some point. Maybe in the future, maybe in the next set, but we'll have to see what they do with that. Maybe a Slaver of the Sky Dragon fusion monster. That'd be very interesting. Now for the final monster, we cannot have a Yugi deck without one of the most iconic cards being Marshmelon. This is Marshmelon. It is a light level 3 fairy monster with 300 attack and 500 defense, and you can only use the first and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. During your opponent's turn, if you control a gold Sarcophagus of Light, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. While you control gold Sarcophagus of Light, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, your opponent's monsters cannot target other monsters for attacks. If this card is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon one of your other Marshmelons that is banished or in your hand, deck, or graveyard, and if you do, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. This is realistically combining Marshmelon with Marshmelon glasses, which I really do like because it is a great source of nostalgia, and we finally get a card with Marshmelon wearing its glasses for once. Now, seeing this card definitely makes me think that this is going to be more of a time card, maybe, but very good for setting up a quick defense if you need it. Now, the monsters overall were good. Let's see what the spells and trap cards hold, and the first spell we're going to be covering is going to be Gold Sarcophagus of Light. This is a continuous spell card, and you can only use each of the following effects, 2 and 3, from this card's name once per turn. Monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. During your main phase, you can add one card that mentions Gold Sarcophagus of Light from your deck to your hand, except Gold Sarcophagus of Light. So being able to search out the whole deck is very, very powerful off of this one card. And if your opponent special summons a monster from the graveyard, you can discard one spell card, target one of those monsters, send it to the graveyard. So it's not destroying, it's sending, which is relatively good in a case like this, in a game where things want to destroy, but being able to send a card to the graveyard is very, very powerful. Honestly, I was expecting a little more from this card, but being able to search whatever out of this whole deck of 10 cards is very good, and being able to interrupt your opponent's combos, very, very wonderful. As we dig a little deeper into the spells, we're going to be running into a couple cards that reference the older Silent Magician and Silent Swordsman. So let's get into Silence of Time. Turn Silence. It's a quick play spell card, and you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. The first effect is you can target one face-up monster you control, increase its level by 3. Then, if you activated this card in response to the activation of your opponent's monster effect while you control both Gold Sarcophagus of Light and a monster that mentions it, negate that effect. During the damage step, when your monster that mentions Gold Sarcophagus of Light battles, you can banish this card from your graveyard and that battle phase. Very, very protective during the battle phase, so it skips and ends the battle phase very good. It can negate whatever you chain to, so you can essentially have Gold Sarcophagus of Light and a monster use Gold Sarc to search. You could drop this to negate a hand trap, which is very, very good. Honestly, one of my favorite cards from the deck so far too, next to Marshmelon. And let's see what else there is for the spells, because we only have 2 more spells and a trap card. Now, before we get into this next card, I want to reference where it's coming from. It is from this art piece right here that was drawn by Kazuki Takahashi, and honestly, it's a great piece of art that they did to reference this. We have Best Friends Bond. It is a normal spell card, and if you control Gold Sarcophagus of Light or a card that mentions it in its text, special summon up to 2 level 4 lower monsters from your hand or deck with different names that mention Gold Sarcophagus of Light in its text. You cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of the turn after activating this effect, and you can only activate 1 Best Friends Bond per turn. This is a really powerful card, and with a very powerful meaning behind it, and it's really nice to see them actually reference an artwork and recreate it to an extent where it gives honor, I would say, and respect to Kazuki Takahashi because of this whole thing that happened a couple of years ago at this point, or a year ago maybe, But honestly, it's great that we have this here. And let's get on to the rest of the archetype. Next up, we have the other silent card representing Silent Magician. We have Silence Towards the Future. It is a quick play spell card, and you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. You can add one monster that mentions Gold Sarcophagus of Light from your deck to your hand. Then if you activated this card during the battle phase while you controlled Gold Sarcophagus of Light or a monster that mentions it, both players draw until they have 6 cards in their hand. This card's going to get limited in the future for sure, because being able just to draw 6 after setting up so much is very powerful. And you could easily splash this engine as an engine, because you could go, oh, Gold Sarcophagus of Light with Marshmelon and this card, that's completely fine. And you can also run other things like your Tricolor Gadget. Overall, very powerful spell card, and I'm glad it has a restriction on it. It's definitely a little more powerful than Card of Demise, but less generic than Card of Demise. Now finally, we're on the last card, and this card is going to be the second gadget card. Of course, it's a Stronghold card, and it's Stronghold the Stealthy Fortress. It is a continuous trap card, and the effect is you could special summon this card as an effect monster. Machine, Earth, level 4, 0 attack, 2000 defense. That has the following effects, and this is still treated as a trap card. This card gains 1000 attack for each Gold Sarcophagus of Light or cards that mention it you control. So it's instantly going to have 1000 attack. And once per turn, when your opponent's monster declares an attack while you control Gold Sarcophagus of Light, you can destroy it. So very good interruption for an attack. Very, very interesting trap card as well. But overall, what do I think about these new cards? It is really cool seeing a lot of these older cards being revitalized into a retrain, but also seeing stuff like Silent Swordsman and Silent Magician getting reprints is very wonderful too, and I wonder if we're going to get a reprint of those 2 cards coming soon, since they were a Millennium Pack exclusive. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. But anyways, I have been Bolt Spider, and I will see you all in the next video.